because when I say this did nothing. So today I'm going to be customizing some jeans with the Cerberus design I made a while back on Instagram. If you're not following me over there, maybe take a look. You know, people seem to like it. Let's face it, it's not exactly like you have a whole bunch of stuff to do. Love you guys! In Greek mythology, Cerberus is the three-headed dog that guards the gates to the underworld to prevent the dead from escaping. The three heads represent the past, present and future, possibly a reference to the eternity that the damned will spend in the underworld. Cerberus is linked to other beings in Greek mythology, such as being the companion of Hades, the god of the underworld, by having the ability to turn people into stone at a glance, just like Medusa, and as one of the 12 labors of Hercules, just to name a few. Step 1. So like most people, my printer only prints standard A4, or if you're in the US, letter size paper, but because I had a lot of room on this pant leg to fill, I needed the template of this graphic to be a few sizes bigger. To solve this, I split the design between 3 sheets of paper and stuck them together with some tape. That gave me a large template of my Cerberus design to transfer to the pants. To do this, I simply took a fine liner pen and drew around the edge of the template, and once the outline was established, I cut off small pieces of the larger template and drew the bits in piece by piece. This gave me an outline that I could build on with the fabric paint. So this way of doing the outline of the template is quite time consuming. I personally find that it works for me, but the good thing about having such an active creative community is that I can actually reach out to you guys and get a bit of wisdom from you, and hopefully it can help everyone else and me. Lucy Noir says, I just have a little art tip for you when it comes to tracing the designs onto the pants that you could try. After you paint your base layer on the back of your image, cover it in graphite, try to use a 6B or 9B, line it up graphite side down on the painted base, and you can trace over all your lines, pressing down a bit harder once you trace the entire thing. And you can take off your image, it will leave a sketch underneath. It's a lot faster and will save you time cutting and tracing. Love the video. So that sounds like a good idea. I'm actually going to give that a go in one of the next videos. I'll see. Also, I'm probably going to try it off camera as well, just like to give it a bit of a go. I'll let you know how it works. And if you guys try it out, let me know in the comments as well. Step 2. Next thing I want to do is add some color to the design, even though I'm going to start with grey. But I promise I'm going to brighten it up in a bit. I took a medium-sized brush, once again the cheapest brushes that were available, it really doesn't matter, and I started filling in the gaps between the pen line. I find it easier to paint the base layer all in one and then to paint the outline. However, in this case, the design was large enough that the parts that needed filling were not too detailed and will be easy to do. Because the design is so large, I had to adjust the pants as I went along. I simply used a hairdryer, once again the cheapest one I could find, and dried the design as I went along so I could turn the jeans without ruining the design. It's always better to use thin layers of paint when you're painting clothes. This is because the paint needs to bond directly to the fabric, and it's easier for this to happen when there's less paint. This is why I decided to use beige jeans for this custom. The light material means I only had to use one thin layer of paint to achieve each coat. Also, I love beige and I use it for literally everything at all times, but I guess mainly it's the layers thing. As an independent creator, I know how important it is to be supported by your own community, so I've added this segment into my videos to highlight people in the community that are doing big things. So this week I want to highlight a brand called Steady Hands, which is an independent brand run by my friend Wesley Morales. Steady Hands has been going for about 4 years now and is based out of New York. The brand is based around unique color combinations and fun color blocking, thematically and aesthetically. But I'm trying so hard to use big words. The pieces that Wesley makes will sit perfectly in any person's wardrobe who's a fan of Golf Wang or Lazy Oaf. Definitely follow Steady Hands on Instagram, let Wesley know that I sent ya, and definitely show some love. Step 3. To bring the design to life, I need to add light and shadow and paint over the pen lines to define the details in the design. Once again, I want to use as few layers of paint as possible, so I decided to use black for the outline and the shadows. Because the paint is so dark, I won't have to paint multiple layers, and it's a great contrast for the grey in the design. It also provides a nice contrast for the purple in the chains, meaning that I won't have to add white to make them stand out. Once the black is painted, I add white into the teeth, eyes, and a small amount into the dog's faces to complete the 3D effect. A great way to make your paintings look a bit more dynamic is to master light and shadow. If you want to see an in-depth tutorial teaching you how to do this, you can click the link in the card to watch the video that I made on the topic. Step 4. At this point, the design was finished according to the template. However, I still had a lot of real estate left on the leg, and so I decided to add chains to the jeans that ended where my hand would naturally rest to give the illusion that I'm holding them. I used the same fine liner as before to draw chains going up the leg. Once the drawing was done, I simply painted over the pen marks with the same purple as I used for the other chains and used black to fill the outline and the shadow. The key to painting chains that look somewhat believable is to add movement by buckling parts that are close together and staggering the design of each link to move in different directions. When painting the shadows, try to paint them relative to each other so it looks like the light's coming from a consistent source. So this is the final outcome. I'm really in love with the size of this. I've done this design before but really small, and I really love how it comes out in this size. And I think adding the chains was a nice touch to make it look like I'm walking the dog. If there's any independent creators, custom artists, or small brands that you want me to highlight in my videos, let me know in the comments below. Subscribe for a new video every week and stay blessed. Bye!